So, in November of 2018, I was banned from Wikipedia indefinitely for defending Infowars. But what really happened? Let's find out.
Scarred for life because of sacrifice. Scarred for life because of sacrifice.
So, I was editing Wikipedia. I was doing a research project on a topic that didn't have much information on Wikipedia. So I was using books to add to Wikipedia with what I was studying and using as a tool to reinforce what I was reading. And that was fine for like 2 weeks. But then at some point, for whatever reason, I looked up Alex Jones. And I saw it within the first 2 or 3 sentences. It says that he's a conspiracy theorist. Of course they would say that. But it also says that he's a fake news operator, that he operates fake news. And I thought that was rather dangerous to suggest about someone that we simply disagree with, because he's certainly not fake news. I mean, he might get it wrong sometimes or have a bias or a slant. Of course, all media has a slant. I mean, CNN has a slant. As I saw earlier in that same day, it was Jeff Sessions firing planned like a murder was a CNN article. I was like, wow, that's, stretching the truth. But that's not fake news according to Wikipedia, of course. And, the fact that the president calls CNN fake news. Should we start putting that into Wikipedia? And I tried to figure out where to bring this up, and I didn't know where to go, so I went to my welcome page. And on my welcome page, it's like, oh, if you need any further information, go to the tea house and feel free to ask. So I went in there and I made an elongated post about what I was talking about in the CNN article, and the fact that Trump calls CNN fake news, and the fact that Infowars is labeled as fake news. And I said, I don't think that's fair. How do we change that? Because it's dangerous. People rely on us to be unbiased. And immediately, the first person was helpful. Apparently I brought it up in the wrong page, and they told me that. They're like, bring it up in this section instead. But then somebody else comes in and he's like, oh, I ought to ban you just for that. Basically saying that if I continued this conversation, he would ban me. But then he felt like he needed to he's like, Infowars claims there's children on Mars, that Sandy Hook never happened, that the frogs are turning gay. And I simply, and Hillary Clinton's a witch. That's what he says, that Infowars says that's fake news. And so I countered that. I don't really know what happened to Sandy Hook. I really don't know what he said. I don't really care. Whatever. But then the thing about sending children to Mars, I heard that very episode, and it wasn't him, it was his guest. And I said as much. And then the gay frogs, atrazine turns frogs gay. It does. And the last one, I was just joking, and I said, Hillary Clinton is probably a witch, was my response. And he banned me for defending Infowars. So this goes back and forth, and I got banned from Wikipedia for that. And I was like, wow. I was just trying to have a discussion about why he's labeled fake news, and I think that's unfair. And I was trying to stick to that point. And apparently he told me in that first message before he responded with all stuff that, you'll get banned if you respond to this. I didn't even see that. And I responded, and he banned me because of that too. He mostly banned me for defending Infowars, and somebody else was like, oh, you should get him on the Hillary thing too. So I was originally only banned for defending Infowars, but then somebody's like, some loser just jumps in and is like, oh, you should get him on the Clinton thing too for defaming a person or something like this. And And I went to this talk page to not break the rules. I was trying to be respectful of the rules and open up a discussion. And I was trying to tell him, and he's thinking that I want to use Infowars as a source, but I was like, no, I only use books. I use books as a source for the most part on Wikipedia. I very rarely use internet. I try to use books mostly and get information that nobody else has on the Wikipedia. And, I said as much, and we were going back and forth, and I said, can you unblock me? And the response for not letting me be unblocked, I said, I'm not going to bring up Infowars anymore. I didn't know it was a problem. And she said, you clearly have a lot of learning still to do. And at the moment, you manifestly lack the competence required to edit Wikipedia. You're welcome to try again in 6 months, but for now, it would actively harm Wikipedia to unblock you. Hopefully, once you've waited 6 months, you'll better understand why you have been blocked and will be able to explain to us how we can be sure you will be a productive contributor. She didn't read I'm assuming this was a woman, she didn't read what I had said or was trying to say, because I wasn't saying Wikipedia should be sourcing material from Infowars. That's what they kept inferring. And I was like, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying we shouldn't label them fake news on their page. It's not fair. Not that we should be using them as a source. I really don't know. I mean, they think BuzzFeed's a great source. Somehow Infowars isn't. I don't know. I don't think either one of them should be being used. To be honest, I wouldn't use them in my own writing as a source. But what I love about Infowars, they bring up a topic and they always cite their sources, and you can go look at the sources that they cite, and they do provide great sources in that way. And I mean, the fact that BuzzFeed is a real news source and Infowars isn't is hilarious. But so I asked again. I was going back and forth. I was explaining to them, I don't want to use them as a source. I never have. And I honestly wouldn't. I wouldn't use any news as a source. I don't think that that's a good source of information. And he's like, well, his issue was that he doesn't see slant or something or media bias. He doesn't see how biased CNN or the Washington Post or New York Times are. It's like people nowadays they've forgotten about slant and media, and now it's like if it's a real news source, you can trust every word that comes out and not look at the slant, which is obviously dangerous. Infowars clearly has a very conservative slant, and you gotta, research what they're talking about, because it's not, it's often beefed up to sell the story, like any news would do. I mean, that's nothing new. You have to read beyond the headline. I mean, anyone with common sense knows this, but I mean, these people think that, I don't know, the way they saw news and authority was baffling to me. But I tried again, a second time to get unblocked, and basically they referred to the original guy, and then he kind of didn't answer really the request from the other administrator to provide more information about whether I could be unblocked or not. And well, he responded one more time with, oh, you need to review reliable sources so we know you're not using, here's a reliable sources page. Again, insinuating that I wanted to use Infowars as a source for Wikipedia, which I said 1,000 times explicitly I didn't. I didn't want to use any news source as a source of information. And so he still didn't get my point. That was the last message he ever sent me. And I was like, ugh, it was just so annoying to not be heard. And it really sucked because I was having a lot of fun editing, and it was helping me get information out there on something I thought was interesting, and to reinforce it in my mind as well. It gave me a reason to write notes. And I told him as much too, that I was only editing things about glaciation and stuff. I wasn't even editing anything controversial. I just thought that was wrong. Then I asked one more time, and I said, you're going to lose me. I'm going to give up. So I asked one more, I said, are you going to unblock me or lose a great contributor forever? And then the person, finally someone reasonable, was like, you've obviously said, you understand what you did wrong and you're not going to do it again 1,000 times, Anyways, so I finally got that ban lifted. But yet, Infowars is still labeled as fake news, and I still think that's dangerous, but whatever. What am I going to do about it? That was just a fun little story I had to get off my chest. It's been running around my mind for a while. I mean, it really made me angry at the time. It didn't make me angry. It hurt. It hurt to be outcast like that. I was like, geez. Just for trying to talk about why something was the way it was, and I didn't. And I was trying to not break the rules, too. It wasn't like I went in there just trashing the place, Whatever. So, don't defend Infowars on Wikipedia. Not that I was in the first place, but whatever. I don't know. That was just a ridiculous story that I had to tell. Until next time, thanks for watching. Subscribe for more amazing, life-fulfilling content such as this. Take care.